And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
I first heard about Dixit when someone came up to me and said to me, they said, "You gotta play this game. It's a fantastic game." I looked at the box. I looked at the design here. Doesn't look very interesting. Then I found out it was a party game. Well, that always intrigues me, because while there's probably 200 new party games made every year, there's probably 3 or 4 that are actually any good. Well, I'll tell you this, Dixit is one of the best party games I've played in a long time, and may possibly be the best party game of 2009. It certainly doesn't look like it's a party game. It has this surrealistic aspect with the cards, but especially when played with an excellent group, this is an amazingly game where you're trying to outthink each other, but not so much that it makes your brain hurt. Look at these cards. Dixit is made up of a deck of these cards with really strange images on them. You can see that, you can talk about what these images might mean, but they're really strange. They have a lot of detail on them, and there's just all kinds of odd things happening in them, and maybe they're pictures from fantasy stories or what have you, but they're definitely intriguing pictures. And so what players are doing is they are taking 6 of these cards into their hand, and the game begins. Now, I should point out that the box itself is the scoring pad. Each player has a rabbit of their color, starting it on 0, and then players are going to be taking a bunch of tiles in their color that are marked 1 to however many number of players are playing. And I would very strongly recommend that you play this game with 5 or 6 players. On a player's turn, they look at the cards in their hand and they choose one of them. They don't tell the other players what card they've chosen. They're just going to put it face down on the table, and then they're going to say a clue about it. Now, they can be as verbose about their clue as they want, or they can be as short and succinct as they want to. For instance, when I gave this clue in a game, I said, "It's your moment." Then every other player looks at the cards in their hand, and they all put down cards in the middle of the table that they think match what I just said. It's your moment. So then these cards are all mixed up. The cards are then placed face up in the middle of the table, and each card is assigned a number in front of it. And then players are trying to figure out which one of these cards is the one that the person who gave the clue put down. So they look down and they say, "It's your moment." Well, that's the card I picked, but is that what I meant? This could be, "It's your moment, the time for you to go dancing. It's your moment, look at all that food." Everyone puts down their tile that matches a number, the one they think. Then everyone turns them over simultaneously. Now, as the clue giver, I am trying to get people to guess my clue, but not everyone. If everyone guesses my clue, for example, if I said clown standing in the spotlight as my clue, that would be very obvious. Everyone would guess it. And if that happened, everyone except me would get 2 points. However, if I made my clue very obtuse that no one would guess it, then everyone would get 2 points if no one guessed my clue. However, if someone does guess my clue, regardless of how many people guess it correctly, as long as one person does, but not everybody, then I get 3 points. And anyone who guessed the clue also gets 3 points. Then everyone else gets a clue, or gets 1 point for every person who guessed theirs. So sometimes you can get a lot of points if you put down a clue that you think other people will guess. And because of that, the game takes on new meaning. People will say stuff, and then they'll try to guess, is that what they meant? Look at these cards. This is an actual setup from a game that we played recently. The clue here was, "And in the darkness." And in the darkness. Now, which one of these cards do you think meets that clue? Well, there was a lot of debate about which one of these there was, and I was sitting there trying to guess, and then I instantly knew which one it was. Do you know? Do you know? Okay, time's up. The answer was this one. Now, almost everybody else guessed this one, but I picked this one and I got the 3 points because that was the one that the person had picked, because I suddenly remembered that there was one ring to bind them all, or to rule them all, and in the darkness, bind them. Now, that's a clue that's good. I instantly got it when I thought about it, but it's one that not everyone would get. That's the kind of clues you're trying to give in this game. Clues that some people get, but not everyone gets. And because of that, you'll put out a clue and you'll try to think, now, what were they thinking when they said that? And this can lead to a lot of creativity. It certainly leads to a lot of fun. There's possibly 2 weaknesses to Dixit. One of them is these 84 cards are fantastic. Wonderful pictures on them. But I wonder if I might get bored of them after a while, seeing the same ones over and over again. I wouldn't have minded if there had been 160, 200 cards. And maybe they'll come out with expansions with more cards, and I hope they do. I think this will satisfy most people. I just was wondering if they could have more cards. Secondly, some people will sit there and be like, I don't know what to say. They'll just say a couple words: black, green, darkness, angry man. You can still work with that and still play with that. But if you play with people who are even the slightest bit creative, this can be really an entertaining game. I introduced it to some new people the other day. 4 of them had played very few board games in their lives, and 3 of them promised to buy it on the spot. That's how much they were intrigued by the game itself. And afterwards, I was just impressed at how much, even though it was a party game experience, I looked back at it and remembered the clues and remembered what happened during the game. It was a game that left an impression on me, and those are the kind of party games which really are intriguing to me. Dixit is a game that leaves an impression. It's certainly one you should check out.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.